host, the Raven here, bringing you some more Dungeons and Dragons action. This time, I am playing Dungeons and Dragons online. I discovered this game by accident. I was reading lore, monster lore, and on the Dungeons and Dragons website, and I s- come, you know, I s- stumbled upon this game that Dungeons and Dragons online. I knew of Neverwinter Nights was online and it had a multiplayer component, but I didn't think of it as an MMO. But so I was surprised to find this one. I thought that Neverwinter was the only Dungeons and Dragons MMO, but I discovered Dungeons and Dragons online, and so far so good. I'm really enjoying it. To me, it seems like it's in between Neverwinter and the tabletop D&D. You know, Neverwinter is fast-paced action. Spells and special moves are going off left and right. People are getting, monsters are getting crushed. People are getting killed and sent back to the campfire. And there's another player running around. Um, it's Twitch action. It's very fun. I really enjoy it. And then there's the tabletop D&D, which is much more methodical, much slower paced. Obviously there's way more room for customization and stuff like that. It's a choose your own adventure type deal. This seems in between. It's not, while Neverwinter is fast paced action, the thing that it doesn't have is the more the complex mechanics of Dungeons and Dragons because it is mostly action, which it's not a default to the game. I mean that's just that gameplay style. Whereas Dungeons and Dragons Online, it's in the middle of the two. You can play in both first person and third person mode, whichever you prefer. I haven't quite decided which one I prefer. Sometimes I like third person, sometimes I like first person. It just depends on where I am. Especially in the town, I mostly like first person though. There's way more character customization. Both Neverwinter and Dungeons and Dragons Online have the feat points or whatever, the stats. But when it comes to skills, um, that's where the separation becomes because this one is more in depth. You can party up and team up, but I don't have very many spells. My character's only level one. But Where's the class? That's what I wanted to show. I forgot how to do that. I'm still very new to it. I've beaten two of the introductory levels, which are pretty awesome. I love the gameplay style and I love the way the traps and stuff actually matter. Which they've changed that in Neverwinter too. Like now, if you step on a trap, you get a bodily injury, which takes away your power or whatever. But here it's like they really, really matter. Like dodging traps and solving puzzles is one of the main features that this game has that Neverwinter doesn't. Which brings it closer to the tabletop game. So anyway, I want to dive into. Oh, and this is cool too. The classes are amazing. If I can find them, there's a bard trainer around here somewhere. There's wizard trainers, master defender, master tactician. Where's the bard? Last time he was like, I saw him playing a flute somewhere. Maybe he's up this way. But when I was aware of the bard class before playing the game, but actually when I got to character creation, I forgot about it. And plus in Neverwinter, I play my main character is a control wizard, although I do play some other classes. One of my good friends has convinced me to start a devoted cleric, which so far so good on that too. I find that gameplay very satisfying. Also, where's the bard player? I don't know. Maybe he left. I don't know. I don't know like how dynamic the cities are or whatever, but I do know that it is very three dimensional. I mean, there's the paths aren't linear, the dungeons aren't linear, and there's a way more chance for exploration in Dungeons and Dragons Online versus Neverwinter. Neverwinter, like you have your set areas and you have your set ways to go and stuff like that, and that's pretty much it. You can go to the Neverwinter, Protector's Enclave, and you can go to, different outposts and zones and stuff, but, you know, you can't, like, go exploring pretty much past, like, the rooftops or, whatever's before you, that's what's there. But with here, it's like, no, you better check. If you look down, if I bring my mouse down here, you can see on the number 8, I have a magnifying glass, which is my search key ability. It goes off of my intelligence. Um, when I activate it, it can find traps and stuff like that, hidden treasures, that type deal. Although, and once again, class comes into play. Um, it'll never be as good as a rogue character. Like rogues can discover and disarm all types of traps, whereas me being a wizard, there's a limit to how much I can find. I'm trying to. I forgot how to bring up my class abilities. Oh wait, is it the ability points tab? How do I use my action? I forgot how to use my action points, which is kind of annoying since I'm recording. But anyway, let's move on. One thing I will say about the graphics, I've turned the gamma way down on my personal settings because it makes the recording much more smoother. And that's just for recording purposes. When you play Dungeons and Dragons online, it won't be this dark. Hello, lady, as a fellow player there. It won't. If you think it's a little bit dark, that's just my personal settings. What I set it to. It's not. When you first the default settings, they're not this. Everything's a lot brighter. But I actually like it like this. It looks way more dynamic to me. It looks. I mean, the game is much older than Elder Scrolls Online, so obviously that game has better visuals. But I'm not knocking these at all. Like, especially for considering this game is much older. I'm very impressed with the graphics and gameplay. So let's step into the bar. And bars here. I was in somebody's head. Bars here play a larger role as they do in the tabletop D&D. You, when you're in a dangerous zone, you're getting your butt kicked and you lose hit points and you lose health. If you come into a civilized town, which where we're in, you do gain your hit points and stuff back. You do get your magic back, but you recover even faster in a bar. Also, every bar has this spirit binder person. So if you get killed in a dungeon, you'll be brought back to this person. So you have to be very careful where you bind your spirit. You can change this stuff, those settings. I think you might have to pay gold or something to change, or something like that. I'm not sure. I don't think so, but I know there's some kind of penalty if you die too much, besides just showing back up at the bar. So you want to be very careful where you bound your spirit or whatever, because you don't want to be in a dungeon, far across the continent, but you bound your spirit to the first guy, which is this guy, the very first guy spirit binder you meet, and you wind up way away from where you were. Also, one thing I like about the bar versus in Neverwinter, it's also closer to D&D, where everybody has something to say, even if it doesn't make too much sense or you don't really care. Everybody has a tale to tell. They have a thing to say. There is voice acting in the game. Not every NPC has voice acting though. It's mostly quest givers, and there's a narrator lady for a lot of the story, and that type deal. Which I find, like I say, it's right in. I'm not knocking Neverwinter. Neverwinter is awesome. I'm just saying that this is like Neverwinter is like. You heard about Dungeons and Dragons. You think you might even seen some of the monsters. The gelatinous cube, and obviously dragons. And you might say, well, I'm interested in Dungeons and Dragons. I want to play it, but you don't want to, learn all the roles and all the things that go with the tabletop D&D and the slower pace of the tabletop D&D. Like Neverwinter is your game for Dungeons and Dragons casual. Like it's fun action. The campaigns. Minus, the campaigns are awesome, especially the new Underdark content. And so that Neverwinter is more for like Dungeons and Dragons casual player. But however, if you want closer to D&D experience, but you still though like maybe don't have the tabletop game, or maybe you don't have enough friends to play it, get together and play it, then I highly recommend Dungeons and Dragons Online. And one thing I point out is this woman here, Miss Garnet. Like being male, my eye naturally darts towards a female form, whether it's in real life or in video games. So at first thing you look at her, you think, okay, it's just an elf chick, leaning up against a wall or whatever, not nothing too crazy or whatever. But if you turn to the side, and you check out her dress, you realize she's wearing a backless, bottomless dress. Now I know why she's leaning up against the walls, but she's leaning up against the wall because her ass is hanging out. Like, she, if she wasn't leaning up against this wall, you would see her butt crack. So that's pretty funny. She's also crazy too. Like if you talk to her, and I think she said something about like gaze into the depths of the blackest fury. Do you not hear the call? The devourer brings power if the void within you can accept it. So there's a cult going on. Let's go outside so I can explain more of the current story. Well, obviously you're shipwrecked. Almost like every Dungeons and Dragons game starts out with somebody shipwrecked, and there's two problems in this village. One are the Soagan. They're like fish people, fish monsters, which is a classic Dungeons and Dragons monster. Oh, and that's another thing, the difference between this one and Neverwinter. This one has a lot more of the classic monster types. So anyway, the Soagan have formed a cult, and they're trying to kill everybody, and if you don't join, they'll kill you, and they're also resurrecting dead people to join their cult. And also, if you notice, it's a lush green environment. You got these big water lily looking leaves, and you have green trees and stuff like that, but you notice it's snowing. That's because also the village is under assault by a white dragon, and it's causing it to snow and be like winter perpetually, kind of almost like the Chronicles of Narnia. So anyway, questing and dungeoning is also very, very cool, and I need to look I see a flashing yellow thing, so let me talk to this, go in here and check it out. Okay, here's our first dungeon, so let's enter. As you can see, you get casual, which is if you're not sure of your abilities, you want easy mode, you can select casual. There's no problem. You get less loot and stuff like that. But I mean, I don't think at this point there's too big of a difference between casual and normal. And hard and elite are locked, but as you beat one mode, you unlock the other mode. So if I beat this area with normal, then I could try it again as hard. But at the moment, let's just enter. So anyway, once again, it's up to your
Ahead is
play.
the cellar where the Caneth crystal is hidden.
You can be first person. If you like to see your character shoot or fight, third person is your go-to perspective. If you like first person, like me, I kind of like first person for searching around and looking around. But then sometimes for fighting, I like third person, so I can kind of get a better idea of what's going on. So I still bounce around between the two. So let's check this out. Let's search it, actually. Alright, there's nothing there. It's just a picture. And here's a lever. And you have to be very careful in this. Like, monsters and stuff pop out everywhere. One thing about the gameplay that I'll say is I really enjoy the sense of tension, the sense of the fact that you actually are
You can feel the life-saving heat emanating from the magic crystal Boldar spoke of. But from the shadows approach those who would doom Korthos by destroying it.
Okay, but anyway, like the atmosphere in the game is really amazing when you step into a dungeon. Like, you feel like you're actually in there. It's a 3D environment. There's crates and stuff to bust. Like, if you ever play like Baldur's Gate or any of the PlayStation 2 Dungeons and Dragons games, or any action-based Dungeons and Dragons game on any console, like, this really captures that feeling. Like, you feel like you're in here. It's 3D. And it said something about shadows overcoming. I'm gonna run a search again, just to be on the safe side. Oh, somebody's fighting me. Oh, crap. Okay, see, somebody popped out. Oh, there's another one. Oh, come on. Alright, so I've activated. Oh, I've lost a lot of hit points by that person surprising me. Wow, how many of these guys are gonna pop? Alright. Oh wow, that's a lot of them. Let me drink a potion. Let me get on the top of these boxes or something, because they keep like popping out and punching me in the face. Oh, well, there's another one. Alright, that was pretty simple. Oh, another one. Alright, wow. I'm sorry for going silent, but it's like when the tension mounts, it's like, oh, dang it. Like, oh, is it safe to approach that thing? I shouldn't have went over there so carelessly. Like, I'm still learning. Like, you just don't walk up and go, oh, there's another one.
You have slain the last cultist, thus protecting the Caneth Crystal and saving Korthos.
Wow. Okay, so that was it. This whole thing was just like kick the crap out of people and jump out. So then let's get this crystal and get out of here. Like, I went silent because, like, oh wait, I don't get it. I just protect it. Okay, I don't need to. Alright, recalling takes time. I think it's faster for me to just walk out the door. So, oh, also in a dungeon, you can recall, which means exit the dungeon, obviously. It's, you know, it's up to your judgment. Like sometimes, like right there, it's only one room. I mean, it was right by the entrance, so it was just faster for me to just walk out the door. But you can recall, which takes some time. And but you know, it gets you out safely. You know, if you're getting your butt kicked and you're out of potions or health items, or you don't have backup, like the last dungeon I was in, there was like a trap that I couldn't disarm because I'm not a rogue, and I didn't have a rogue with me. I did it solo. So like some things you'll have to leave behind, or treasures you have to leave behind. So it's very important, like who you take with you on your journey. Like I mean, I could have used a cleric or something in there. I mean, I won by myself because it's an introductory dungeon, but I'm pretty sure as the game progresses on, there'll be dungeons that you're gonna need a cleric, you know, for healing and buffs and stuff like that. You probably need great, you know, weapon fighters or barbarians or tanks or whatever. There's so many classes. I mean, like there's a cleric trainer, barbarian trainer, favorite soul trainer, which that's a paid class. There's paladin trainer, fighter trainer, artificer trainer, which I think you can learn artificing as a skill, period. Ranger, you know, obviously all the sorcerer, which I'm not a sorcerer, I'm a wizard. There's a difference, but all of the Dungeons and Dragons classes are represented here, I believe. Well, maybe not all, but a lot of them. Master Defender, so I guess it's a, you know, would be Guardian Fighter and Neverwinter. And there's a Master Tactician. Okay, wait a minute. I think I know where the Bard is now. I'm bound and determined to show y'all the Bard trainer because I think that's a cool class. Like, I mean, and he seems so chill. Yeah, here he is. This is where I messed up. There's another part of the village. Now, this is my trainer, the wizard trainer, which let me see. Let me like your services. Spend action points to enhance feats. Okay, now this is my skill tree, which I wanted to show you earlier, which I forgot how to access. But as you can see, with my race, which is a human, there's also class enhancements. You can be a pale master. It's like you can take on the forms of various undead, from a zombie to vampire to wraith to Lich, which it lets a picture of Valendra if you look closely. And here you're like more of an elemental spell, the Archmage, like you cast thunder, fire, lightning, ice, that type stuff. Eldritch Knight, I haven't checked out all the way yet, because, like, this is a huge list. You don't really want to spend points, idly or, without, education. So I haven't checked all of that out, but it's just amazing that you have that. So here's a monk trainer, so you can be a monk. And here's the bard trainer. It's just like this dude everybody else is like standing, like they're looking stern and grim, like, hey, I'm this serious trainer guy, like, our class and our profession is such a serious undertaking, blah, 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 and I'm a master, blah, blah, blah. Look at my stern stance and stern face. And the bard trainer's like, yo, I just spend all my time drinking ale, chilling by the foot of this tree, playing the flute. If you want some instructions, I'll show you how to chill. So, yeah, Bard class, pretty awesome. If I do a new character, I'm definitely gonna try out the Bard. But this being closer to the tabletop D&D, first I want to learn the ropes of combat and stuff, and kind of know what's ahead first, because some of the classes are way harder to play than the others. And this is the Druid trainer, which is also a mage class. Mage, wizard, sorcerer, druid, and wizard are all, and warlock are all magic class. So you can pick to be a mage, but you don't have to be a control wizard or whatever. You can be a warlock. I mean, there's so many more options. So that's basically my review of this. And it's my first thoughts. I love the 3D environment. I love the fact you can transition between first person and third person, once again, much like Elder Scrolls Online, but this is free to play. You don't have to pay. Elder Scrolls it was subscription based, but that kind of tanked because they ruined how you could party up. So that switched to buy to play. You do have to purchase the content first, and then after that you can play for free, which I bought it when it was during subscription, so I still can play it, but it's hard to link up with your friends, for various other reasons. But this one, there's no restrictions on, like, Master Blazeman. There's no restrictions on, like, rank or country or something like that. It blocks you from teaming up. I guess you just make friends and be like, hey, dude, let's take on this dungeon. I need a cleric, or I need a wizard, or this place has a lot of traps. Or are you, I need a rogue to help me out. So anyway, to me, it's very enjoyable. I'm very impressed right off the bat with this. It's right in between Neverwinter and the tabletop in my personal point of view. If you feel differently, amen. And well, anyway, I encourage you to check it out for yourself if you're a Dungeons and Dragons fan, whether it's tabletop or online action, because there's plenty of action to be had here, and there's plenty of action to be had in Neverwinter. Both are amazing games. Both have their own style, and both Neverwinter and Dungeons and Dragons Online are free to play. And so, obviously, there's the white dragon that's causing the snow. Every now and then he comes out and you can see him flying by or whatever. So far, he hasn't bitten anybody's head off. But as soon as I progress the story in the game, dragon attacks or, various other things will happen. So anyway, I'm going to turn in this quest. This is the original quest giver here. Is the crystal safe? Yes. Cultists came, as you said they would, and when they tried to restore the crystal, I failed them. This village remained warm, well, warmish. So okay, the crystal is what's keeping people alive in the first place during the winter. So, Axebane, reward option. Yeah, okay, and that's another thing. The loot is, once again, it's closer to the tabletop Dungeons and Dragons. You can roll different loots, and if you don't like what you have, a lot of times in treasure chests there's a re-roll option, but that costs diamond shards, astral shards, and quest givers, they just basically give you your set choice, but you have to pay attention to the stats. Some things have attack penalties, things like that. So anyway, and it's going to take some time for me to read this text, so I'm going to end the video here. I appreciate you watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Give me your thoughts and opinions. Are you a Dungeons & Dragons fan? If you play Neverwinter or DDO, let me know. I thank you for watching again, and have a great day.